Mom, do you have to do this? Mom, what kind of mom are you? Coin locker baby, starts. A baby is found in a coin locker by a beggar, named Tenny because the locker number is 10. She grows among the homeless, eating moldy food. One day, a detective forces her in a suitcase, and carries her to Chinatown, where is a rundown photo studio, in which illegal aliens come, sign a waiver of physical rights, and get their fake ID cards. And this is Mom, the owner of this studio. Calling her mom, Tack brings the suitcase in front of her. He has been bringing her homeless children to pay his huge gambling debt. Tenny panhandles with other children, but soon all of them are discarded far away from Chinatown not to be able to come back, when she doesn't cry. The next day, while Mom and Wugan are having dinner, she knocks on the door. Staring at her, Mom gets him to order her food. At dawn the next morning, Mom starts to take her for work. On their way, she notices a dying dog and stares at it, when Mom just kills it, saying she's not helping when she can, and when useless, she'll also be killed. After a few years, she gets into a gambling house alone. Sitting next to a man playing mahjong, she says to pay up as it's due date, and then he smashes her head in with a glass ashtray, which she picks up and spits blood in, saying to pay up again. Angry, he tries to beat her up, when she calls Wugan on the speakerphone, and makes him hear his wife's frightened voice. All of a sudden, he starts to apologize, but now she makes him play for 6 times the bet. When another man is about to win, she brings him a tile and makes him win. He keeps bowing and thanking her, but she says she's not done yet, making him put an empty bottle in his mouth, and smashing his head in with the ashtray. Mom welcomes Mr. Wu back in business, who has been in Kangwan Land Casino, and just come back, with 2 fingers cut off because of the gambling money. When he asks if Tenny is a new employee, she answers in Chinese, which Tenny doesn't understand. Getting back to the photo studio, Tenny checks if Hongju has taken his pills, saying he'll really die if he keeps on forgetting. He has low intelligence, so she reminds him everyday details, during which Wugan notices a cut on her face. Finishing their dinner, they talk about Park, who is paying interest working in Philippines with his son in Korea. The due date is coming, so Mom gets Tenny to receive the interest in person, lest he hide his son. The next day, when she's about to head for Park's son, Wugan hands her a knife but she shows him her jackknife. And then he hands him a band-aid, saying to be careful, which makes her feel awkward. When she rings the bell, Park's son Hyun comes out, who is so gentle and pretty. He lets her in the house, all furniture of which is sealed with red stickers, which means they're seized by authorities. He already knows she's come for money, but insists on making her food first. He says they can pay up soon because his father's working hard in Philippines. She asks what if his father ditches him, but he trusts his father more than anyone else. While she's eating, he applies ointment on her wound, which makes her freak out and storm out of the house. On her way back, Mom calls her, who says he wasn't at home, and then Mom tells her to bring Song, who's making trouble. She goes into a room in a nightclub, where Song is beating up a woman, saying Mom would have killed all of them because they're useless. When she checks her arm, there are so many needle marks. While Tenny takes her away, Cheeto stops her, who broke loose from Mom. She warns him never to sell her drugs again, otherwise she'll kill him. Then he says to stop being cheeky, or she'll be screwed. The next day, she goes to Hyun again to get the interest, but he isn't at home and doesn't get her call, so unlocking the door, she goes through the house, when he calls her to his workplace. He asks her to wait just for a moment. He is a cook. After work, he gives her the interest she didn't get yesterday, and saying the expiry date of his voucher is today, takes her to a theater. After a while, she wakes up to find herself sleeping leaning on him, when he asks her if she wants to watch another movie. After the movie, they go to a pub. He opens a bottle of soju, and shows her the cap written "win one more bottle," saying he's been always so lucky. She doesn't understand how he can be optimistic in his situation. He says he's lived alone since 15, when he loved burgers but could use $5 a week, so he bought a $1 burger at McDonald's and ate it crying. The fact nothing tasted better than that cheap burger made him cry and decide to be a cook, and he was even accepted to Le Cordon Bleu, the most famous cooking school in France. He will enjoy his life, because he didn't choose to be born and can't just die. She helps him get in the house, who is drunk and fell asleep. He talks in his sleep that being poor isn't his fault, when she says that is his fault. And then she stares at him, during which Mom calls her, but surprised, she just hangs up. In front of the studio, still not getting back, she sees Mom go somewhere, and follows her, sharing her umbrella. Over a bridge, Mom holds a ritual, in which she bows 3 times, flicks a drink 3 times, and throws it to the sea, telling her mom that she feels sorry Mom's glass is broken. When Tenny asks if her mom was good to her, she laughs and says she killed her right there. Letting her go back, Mom gets a call from Woogan and orders him to clean it up. He accepts it and goes through the bodies, and Hongju, covered in blood, calculates the price of the organs they can sell. Song goes shopping for accessories with Tenny following, who is not interested in girly stuff, but spots a lovely dress unlike usual. And she takes her passport photos, and asks Song if France is far from Korea. Meanwhile, though he's not in charge, Woogan barges in Hyun's workplace, and says he has one more day to pay $100,123, pouring boiling oil on the floor. He wants Hyun to run away, knowing he's distracting Tenny. That night, Mom tells Tenny Hyun's father has gone off the grid, so they're doing the surgery now, giving her Hyun's waiver of physical rights. Also, Mom says she wants Tenny not to grow anymore. At the entrance of Hyun's apartment building, Hongju has been waiting for Tenny, who tells him to come up after counting to 100. Getting back, Woogan is told where Mom and Tenny went, and storms out of the studio, knowing what's going on. Tenny rushes to Hyun, and hiding her knife, pounds the door desperately. Giving him a plane ticket to France, she says to run away now, or he'll be killed, but he insists on staying there no matter what. Though she shouts his father dumped him, he doesn't believe it. Then Hongju arrives and approaches them holding his knife. Menacing him, she tries to stop him, but he just comes toward them, saying he's useful, he must listen to Mom, and she told me to work. Meanwhile, Mom is looking up the apartment in the car. Tenny smashes Hongju's head in, and rushes away with Hyun, but at the exit to the underground car park, they're caught and Tenny is injected with an anesthetic. Mom comes and gives her a knife, saying to prove she's still useful, but she can't move. She goes to Hyun and slashes his neck, right after which he's dragged into their van for his organs to be harvested. She comes to Tenny again, and says it won't hurt after her muscles relax. Calling Mom, Tenny faints, and Mom stares at her. When Doctor comes and tries to finish her too, Mom changes her mind and stops him, saying to call Cheeto. Then furious, Woogan barges in, beats all them up, and asks Mom if she has to do this to her family. Mom asks him if he is her family, and tells him to go get Hongju. Tenny wakes up to find herself locked in a shipping container with other girls, sold to Japan not paying up their debt. Soon, the door opens and they're ordered to get out. As she's dragged by them, Cheeto calls her, and punching her in the head, he says goodbye. At that moment, she slashes his face with her jackknife, and runs away, but gets to a dead end. Giving a deep sigh, she says she's hungry, and jumps into the sea. Then Tak gets a text from Cheeto, asking him to kill Tenny for $30,000 besides clearing his debt. Hongju sticks to Song and waits for Tenny's call to kill her. When someone calls her, she shouts there's no uncle and hangs up, by which Song tells Tenny to go to Mr. Wu because they call him uncle. At dawn, while Song heads for Mr. Wu, Doctor comes to her, and says she has to think hard now that all but her are going out of their head. When Tenny appears to Mr. Wu, he delivers Song's message that she'll wait in Woogan's place, saying never to come to him again. On the other hand, Cheeto calls Mom to his workplace, and demands to compensate for his eye and dead boys, whose cost she calculates and shows him the total, from which she subtracts the cost of having raised him, cleaned up the mess of his business, and failed to send Tenny to Japan unharmed, and now he has to pay her $180,000. She says to pay with his body because he has no money, and then all men take out their knives, and stab him one by one, which she keeps watching. She calls the second, who she says is the boss, and calls Doctor to do a surgery for one cornea. Tak goes to Mr. Wu and asks about Tenny, but he says he doesn't know her. Then Tak says losing his hand might help him remember. When Tenny gets in Woogan's place, Hongju is waiting and goes at her to kill her. He strikes her in the back with a baseball bat and tries to kill her. At that moment, Woogan rushes to him, and tries to stop him, but he stabs a pen in Woogan's neck, and rushes to her again, so Woogan breaks his neck. She tries to take him to a hospital, but he says just to help him by pulling out the pen, because he's too scary to do it himself. She hugs him crying, and he says not to hate Mom. Pulling it out, she loses herself, when Tak smashes her head in, which makes her faint. In a car trunk, she wakes up, and sees herself when young. Young Tenny keeps saying she shouldn't have gone out and should have died in there, but Tenny screams she'll get out and go home. When the trunk opens, she attacks Tak, who tries to shoot her. After some struggle, he's shot by her. Still not dead, he says to finish it, but she doesn't, saying it's too easy for him. High on drugs, Song says to herself Tenny is the one who messed up, and then keeping saying sorry to her, ignoring Mom's call. Cheeto's body is buried in concrete. Song kills herself. Giving up calling Song again, Mom closes the coin locker number 10. Tenny gets back to the photo studio, when Mom is eating at the table full of dishes. Mom tells her to eat first. Saying all have died, Tenny wants some explanation about it, but Mom just asks if she will kill her or not. When Tenny says she'll try, Mom says she shouldn't just try, and once she decides, she should do it. Then Tenny shouts and rushes to her, stabbing. When she tries to lose her hand, Mom holds her hands, saying she's not helping when she can, so she stabs her deeper. Saying she's all grown up, Mom gives her locker key number 10. She cries at a loss in front of Mom. Tenny gets into a van full of illegal aliens, and asks a woman if she is company. Then she speaks something in Chinese meaning it's my baby, which Mom said when she introduced her to Mr. Wu. Tenny opens the coin locker number 10, where are her adoption certificate and her real ID card. She holds a ritual, bowing 3 times, flicking a drink 3 times, and drinking it. For more videos like this, remember to subscribe and hitting the like button helps this channel continue.